You know, it's wonderful living in a rural area where you have dark skies, but it has its drawbacks. I ordered a field flattener from Orion, and they sent me an email, like they always do, saying it was ready to be picked up. And MTS Freight called me and said that they couldn't deliver it because I live in a rural area. So I have to go pick it up. It's 34 miles away. It's not a field flattener. It's my Meade LX90 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain. I had to go pick it up myself. The guy lifted it off the ground like it was a pillow, and I said, "How much does that whole thing weigh?" And he said 135 pounds. So I think I better go get my hand truck to get this thing out of the car. Be right back. It's a box inside of a box. Okay, this is gonna take a while. I don't mind opening up out here. Thank goodness it's not snowing, but it is 6 degrees and it'd be much more comfortable in the living room. Be right back. Finding out of the first box. I'm not throwing anything away, just in case I have to take it back. Whoa, look at this styrofoam piece. Oh my word. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at this monster. It is gigantic. Holy moly. Look at that beautiful instrument. Wow. Years ago, I owned a Meade. I think it was a 4-inch or 4.5, I don't remember. That was my last Schmidt-Cassegrain. Poor Meade, they declared bankruptcy, but they were bought out last June by Orion. Let's see what kind of goodies you get with it. You get an 8x50 rear focus viewfinder with bracket and base, and it matches. That's cute. You get a Meade star diagonal. Made in China, it's probably cheap as hell. And you get a 26mm Plössl, super Plössl. Doesn't say the field of view. I'll have to look it up. Also made in China. And you get the instruction manual, which you should for a high-end telescope like this. And mount. Way to go, Meade. Now let's see where this thing was made. Meade used to make their high-end telescopes in Torrance, California. But I don't think they do anymore. Meade Instruments, Watsonville, California. That's where Orion is located. Assembled in Mexico. Yay, Meade. It's not made in bleep China. Can't wait to use this thing. I already got the... Please, can't you wait to snow after I get the thing in the house? I already got the tripod legs and they're in the house. Now I have to get this thing in the house. It weighs 60 pounds and I've been practicing. I've been lifting 60 pounds and moving it. But I had the feeling this is going to be awkward because of where they put the handles. Oh my Lord. I may have to delete this clip. Oh, it's not that heavy. It's not that heavy at all. I can't wait to use this go away clouds. I'm taking this thing inside because it's cold out here. Oh yeah, I can't wait. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I just carried my 60-pound Meade LX90 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain up those stairs and into my living room. So let's move inside and put it on the tripod. Okay, I brought it inside and I put the tripod together, and one thing I don't understand is how one person is supposed to get this monster telescope onto that steel rod that goes up the center, because it doesn't stay in place. I just put some tape over it to make it stay there, and it's incredibly difficult to get this 60-pound telescope directly onto that peg. So I am going to take it outside and see if it'll go on that wheelie bar, because I don't ever want to do that again. No, I will, because look at this thing. It's beautiful, but it's bigger than I am. This is the tripod. It alone weighs 40 pounds, I think. Hardest part is getting the telescope, which weighs 60 pounds, on this peg. I don't know how you get it to stay in place if you're doing it by yourself, so I just taped some tape on the center rod. Now I'm going to get the telescope. Hopefully this video isn't a disaster video. This metal is cold. Okay, I did it. I have to line up the cute blue finder scope with the telescope, but right now I have the, I don't know why I'm facing south, because it was heavy and my hands are cold. North is over there. Comes with this bubble level, and this bubble level's not right. I know where north is. Anyway, I can't do it right now because my hands are cold. So I'll come back after I have more clothes on and some gloves. But yay, I got it on the peg. One more thing before I go put on gloves and more clothes is that this wheelie bar would be perfect for this, except I have the bars as far out as they would go, because I was hoping to use it with my 6-inch refractor in EQ6R Pro, but it would not fit even fully extended. So tomorrow I'm going to put it in the garage with the space heater, because it is too cold out here to do it now, and move it in so that I can put this on it, and I will strap it down and wheel it from now on, so I don't ever have to lift this 60-pound telescope on this 40-pound tripod. But that's for another day. For right now, I'm going to get clothes and gloves, line up the 8x50 finder scope with the telescope, and then attach the hand controller, and then use the auto star that comes with it. It even has audio, which I think will become obnoxious after a while, but it might be cute to begin with. And you have to use 8C batteries to power this. I didn't know it was going to come this soon, otherwise I would have ordered an AC power cord for it, because it's so darn cold here. But oh well, at least I will look how clear it is, get some enjoyment out of it, and go over that with you later. Be back later. Wow. Just looking at the Great Orion Nebula in my new LX90 12-inch Meade Schmidt-Cassegrain. I wasn't expecting it to come this soon. Orion said it was on back order till May 7th, and then the shipping company refused to deliver it to my house. But I called Orion and I complained, and they're going to reimburse me $400 because I had to go get it myself. Anyway, I just got it set up. This is an alt-az. It's on a fork mount, and there's no polar alignment. And the hand control does everything. All you have to do is you point towards either true north or magnetic north. Easier to point to magnetic north with a compass. And then you make the optical tube parallel to the ground. It comes with a bubble level and a compass. I used a carpenter's level and a little compass I use for hiking, and I got it level, and then you just turn it on and it pointed to Sirius, and it wasn't exactly center. In fact, it wasn't in the field of view, but with a Schmidt-Cassegrain, it's a lot easier to just look over the top of it and find objects. And so I found Sirius, and then it wanted me to look at Capella, and I found Capella, which was hard because it's practically at the zenith right now. And then it was ready to look at deep sky objects. Pretty nice. And it talks. She tells you all kinds of things about the object, which I know is going to become tedious and obnoxious after a while, but it's pretty funny right now. And this thing's going to be a barrel of fun. I just know it. Right now, you can see it's getting frost on it because it's -3 Fahrenheit, as usual, when it's clear. So cold, but that's okay because I'm having fun. I can't wait. I haven't had a Schmidt-Cassegrain for, I don't know, 25 years. And this is the biggest telescope I've ever owned. 12-inch aperture. Wow. Over 3,000 millimeter focal length. It's going to be so much fun. It came so early, I haven't really prepared a place to store it. So I'm going to use the styrofoam it came with and put it on top of this wheelie bar and store it there for the time being till I find a better, more cozy place for my Schmidt-Cassegrain. So good thing I didn't throw away the wheelie bar. So that's it for now. Good morning, everyone. Last night after I finished stargazing, I did not want to take the telescope off of the tripod, not because I couldn't lift it, but because it's so hard to get the telescope onto the central bar. So I left it attached, and I picked up the whole thing, telescope and tripod, which weighs 100 pounds, and carried it into the garage and stored it in the garage for the evening. Then this morning, I adjusted the bars on my wheelie bar to make them shorter to accommodate the shorter distance between the tripod legs of the tripod that comes with this Schmidt-Cassegrain than the EQ6R Pro, which I had intended to put on there, but it wasn't big enough even at the longest length. So now I've made it shorter, and I lifted the whole tripod and telescope and put it on the wheelie bar, and then I strapped it down with 2 straps that I got from Ace Hardware, CLC work gear, strap it, 8 foot, and strap those over the fork mount and under the wheelie bar. Now I hope this is not a disaster video, but I'm going to wheel it out of the garage and into my observation site. This wheelie bar scares me. I'm not totally convinced of its stability, but here we go. So far, so good. Let me put some stoppers on the wheel so it doesn't roll into the meadow, although I don't think it's going anywhere. These straps are orange and purple merely by coincidence. It has nothing to do with Clemson. I hate Clemson. Sheer coincidence. But I will say that these straps, CLC straps that I got, are much easier to use than those terrible ratchet straps that they give you if you get the package from Farpoint Astro. Don't get those. You don't need anything that sturdy unless you have, you know, a 36-inch telescope. For something even this big, 12-inch, these straps I mentioned are perfectly fine. And they're a lot easier to use. They just have one little ratchet that you push in and pull the strap through. And they're cheap. The Meade Instruments LX90 ACF Schmidt-Cassegrain Telescope. The ACF stands for Advanced Coma-Free, a patented design of Meade Instruments, whereby they replace the traditional spherical secondary mirror with a hyperbolic mirror, and that gives it flat field all the way across the entire field of view and pinpoint stars, something coveted by visual observers and astrophotographers alike. And I can tell you after looking through it, it has fantastic optics. It's 3,048 millimeter focal length, 12-inch aperture, and f10 focal ratio. I haven't owned a Schmidt-Cassegrain for 25 years, so I forgot that the primary mirror is right up here in the front, just inches from the front of the telescope. So I definitely need to get a dew shield. I've never had to worry about dew in the Bay Area or Montana. Both places are pretty dry. However, the frost was a problem. So I need to get a dew shield. That's highly recommended. I'm going to get a dust cover for it. And one thing I'm going to get right away is the AC power adapter, so I can run it off of AC power, because it runs off of C-cell batteries, 8 of them. And alkaline batteries and rechargeable batteries also do not do well in cold weather. So if you live in a northern town like I do, it's not going to work well with C-cell batteries. Alkaline batteries run off of water and electrolytes, and those do not create the chemical reaction needed for the battery to function well. So worst case scenario, they can burst, but more likely they just fail and the computer no longer operates. You can use it manually and push it around, but the beautiful thing about this telescope is the computer. It has easy alignment. You just level the tripod, you put your bubble/compass where your eyepiece goes, point it to magnetic north using either the compass it came with or your own compass. I used my hiking compass, pointed it to magnetic north, and you get the optical tube level, parallel with the ground, using the bubble level or carpenter's level. And then you turn on the hand controller, and it says, do you want to easy align? And you have to center 2 stars. In the winter, it chose Sirius and Capella, and admittedly, Sirius was not in the field of view, but it probably wasn't completely level last night because it was so cold, and I was cutting corners, but it's so easy to find things with the Schmidt-Cassegrain, because if you just look over the top, and as you can see, it's so big that my eyeball is right there. Now it's even taller on the wheelie bar, and I got Sirius in there very easily. And after you do that, it was dead on all the objects. I decided to use the Deep Sky Tour that comes with the hand controller, and I do have a minor complaint about that. About half of the objects were stars. And I thought, okay, stars are interesting, but I wanted to see the Whirlpool galaxy and Bode's galaxy, not Regulus. I mean, double stars are beautiful, but it was just choosing random stars. Betelgeuse. Anyway, that's a minor complaint. The hand controller does talk. She tells you things about the objects, but you can turn that off if you don't want it. It does have some drawbacks. When it slews, it's very loud. It weighs 60 pounds and the tripod weighs 40 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. This telescope has ultra-high transmission coatings, has advanced coma-free on the secondary mirror. It comes with Sony GPS module. It has excellent tracking. It has permanent periodic error correction. And it can be used for lunar, planetary, and long exposure astrophotography. Even though it's an all-TAS mount, it's an incredibly accurate telescope and has unbelievable optics. So this is an all-around excellent telescope. The Meade Audio Star hand controller comes with a 30,000 object database. That's pretty good. And you can enter the coordinates yourself and it'll go to anything. And it's very accurate. Meade's top-of-the-line telescopes in Schmidt-Cassegrain are the LX200. But I don't see the difference, honestly, between the LX200 and the LX90. They both have the ultra-high transmission coatings and the advanced coma-free. The LX200 weighs even more than the LX90 12-inch, and I just figured 60 pounds was about my maximum to carry and put it on the tripod, which is about at waist level. And if I were going to get something heavier, I would have bought the 16-inch, but that was well beyond my lifting capacity. I think it weighs 80 pounds. So 12 inches is great. Largest aperture telescope I've ever owned, and the optics are fantastic, and I can't say enough good things about it so far. So that's about it. What do I think about the Meade Instruments LX90 ACF 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain? I think it's a dream machine, and I think I'm going to enjoy it for years and years. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode about this telescope. Dark skies forever. Sula, signing off.